1 year tasting of Dragon Blood wine. You know, I knew she was going to do that, but I didn't know how violent or loud it was going to be, and I wasn't expecting the little pause afterward.
No one expects the pause.
Yeah. So this is our Dragon Blood wine, which is a triple berry wine, okay? It ended at 12.1%, and like we said, we bottled this a year ago. So let's pop it open and get a taste. I left off the sparkling because it was supposed to be sparkling, but it wasn't sparkling earlier, so I didn't want to call it sparkling, but I think it might be sparkling. Maybe. It's supposed to be.
Oh, look at that color.
I don't think it's too sparkly, though.
That's okay. It's pretty.
All right. Color.
It's pretty.
Glorious color. I mean,
oh my
that's
gosh,
like...
you put it up to the light, and even the small volume, it's completely and totally opaque.
Yeah.
You cannot see through it.
That's why we call it Dragon Blood, because it's like opaque.
If you look diagonally through, you can see
It's
through
got
it,
this
and it's this
maroon
beautiful,
red.
like...
It's a ruby maroonish. It's just so hard to describe, but
it's red, but it's got a little bit of pink. It's really pretty. I love these jewel tone colors, and this is definitely a jewel tone color. And
where do you smell it?
I could have like a nice dark velvet in this color for a couch or something. I'd be really happy about it.
On the smell?
Oh man,
it is rich. It's heady. It's fruit. It's all the dark fruits and lighter fruits. Like I'm getting raspberries and strawberry, as well as plum and grape, and even I just got peach. Maybe a tiny hint of citrus even. Now, obviously, all those things are not in here, but that's what your brain detects, because you can only correlate scents with things that you've experienced before. So whether it's in here or not, that's what your brain says, oh, that smells like this to me. That smells like that to me. So that's where I'm saying I get that smell from it, because that's what it comes through as.
I was limited to only one word to describe what I'm getting from the color and the aroma of this particular beverage. That word would be decadent.
Yeah. This is definitely decadent. I was going with rich, but she's got the bigger vocabulary today, apparently. Wow, it's just amazing. If it tastes anything like the smell, this is going to be a fantastic wine.
See, I hate it when he does that, because then I just have visions of Fey wine, but Fey wine finally came through, and this is a year later. So,
but I remember we liked this before.
Oh yeah,
this was good, but I think it might have improved. So, you ready for a short sip? Now, as we always say, the short sip is to acclimate you to the flavors and the alcohol, the tannins, the acids, everything in a wine or a mead. That way, it takes the harshness away, so that the second sip that you do, you can actually taste things. The first one, probably won't taste as much as the second. Oh.
So I'm glad we took that first sip, and I'm glad I actually made it a first sip, because it smells a lot sweeter than what the first sip indicates.
It's actually quite dry.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of happy about, because that means I can drink it.
Right. The more sugar is fermented out of a beverage, the less likely it's going to affect somebody who has diabetes.
Yep. You do not want an insulin response.
But even with that dryness that I got from it, I still got fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Just not the sweetness.
Mm-hmm. What I got is a very bright flavor, like very nicely acidic, but not overly so. It had just the right amount of acidity. I got the tannins from the fruit, even though I don't know that there's any tannins in here. We're going to put tea in it. Sorry, I didn't actually check the recipe before we did the taste. It was a year ago. And I got the fruit sweetness up front without it being overly sweet, like she said. It wasn't sweet, but I got a fruity taste. But then the acidity really brought it all together. It seems to actually have a nice balance to it.
Yep.
Are you ready for the long sip?
I am so ready for the long sip.
Wow. There's so much going on.
That was incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
What I felt like I was experiencing there, and this is another experience situation which I find really curious, is I felt like as the flavors changed during that long sip, I was going through the lifespan of a fruit. So the beginning was that tart, almost not quite ripe fruit flavor.
See where you're going.
And then it started to go into the more mature, more juicy, sweet fruit flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, I was getting more of the feeling of alcohol. So it was more of the overripe.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Perhaps fermented fruit flavor.
I can see that.
And that was really enjoyable to kind of go through that timeline through a tasting. I've never had that experience before. So that was, I like that.
I didn't really get that much different than my short sip, to be honest. It was just more intense than the short sip, which is surprising. But it wasn't intense in the alcohol so much, even though I can detect the alcohol in this. I wouldn't say that it's an overly strong alcohol flavor, but I can detect that it's there. What I did get, though, is, again, the acidity and the fruitiness just seems to really work. It's almost like balsamic vinegar on fruit. It has a vinegary sourness that is sweet too, and with the fruit it mixes, and it's just it's very difficult to describe. I can't actually describe it, but I'm getting that, and the tannin was just right. What this tastes like to me is a very fine aged dry red wine. Like I can't even think of a name.
Like a Pinot Noir.
Like a Pinot Noir. Yeah, that's the word I was trying to come up with. It even looks like a Pinot Noir.
It does. It really does. And that's interesting that Brian did the balsamic thing, because it's not really vinegary at all.
No.
It's
acidic.
I was searching for that additional note in there that's beyond the berry, and what I was coming up with was coffee, almost a coffee-ish.
Like
note.
I can see that, the bitterness of coffee.
Yeah, that is carried throughout, and we used to not like dry wines, to be honest.
Yeah, we're starting to like them.
And
mostly out of necessity.
And normally, and I know this goes back to the ancient days, ye old days of City Steading, we joked about them being footy. This is not footy.
No.
This is just dry.
Yeah.
In fact, do you need some more?
Nope, I'm good. I don't need that anymore. I'll have people yelling at me if they see me drinking too much. Amy.
We love you. Oh man, that the color, the aroma.
You got a bigger pour this time than last time.
I might have, because you didn't pour it. I did.
Yeah, this is amazing. I'm almost at a loss for words on what to say on it. If we liked this before, I love this now. This is one of my more favorite wines that we've made.
Now, in thinking about this and wanting to improve it, per se, I would like it to be sweeter, because I think that would accentuate the fruitiness that I'm getting from it. But then I pause for a moment and say, is that really what I'm looking for? And I don't think it is. What I think I'm actually looking for is the sparkling.
Yeah. I want this to be sparkling.
If this was actually sparkling, which shockingly enough we can do even at this state, because we have tools now that we haven't even played with yet.
Yeah.
But if this was actually sparkling, we would probably get that mental note of it being an increased sweetness.
Yeah, it'd feel lighter too, because it feels very rich.
And then we get
and
that
heavy.
effervescent with all the complexity that's already inherent to this beverage, and I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Sparkling is probably the one thing that I would do to improve this. Other than that, I probably wouldn't change a thing. Would I cook with this? Yes. In a tomato sauce or a chili, without a doubt, this is phenomenal. And
if you were a meat eater, I would say you can even marinate a
cook it down.
questionable cut of meat with this to give it some more oomph and
I wouldn't
complexity.
do a questionable. I'd do a good cut. Anyway, drinking with food. Oh yeah, with like any Italian food, this would be fantastic. With geez, almost anything. I mean, you can have this with a salad, with a cheese plate, with a piece of bread with butter on it. I mean, it doesn't matter. This is just that good.
The calzone we had for lunch.
Yeah, anything that you would have a red wine with, this is it. For all intents and purposes, this is red grape wine. You know, it's not made with grapes at all. There's no grapes in it. As far as would I pour this in a glass and drink it on its own? For me, this is an unusual one for me to like and actually say, yes, I would pour a glass of this and enjoy it, to the point that I might do that tomorrow or the next day and sit out on our gazebola. That's right, I said gazebola. It's part gazebo, part pergola. And I would sit outside and enjoy this. I think I could really go for that. It's that nice. It's not the kind of thing that I really want to have a lot of.
No.
Like, just a couple ounces in a glass is really all I would want. And probably all I should have anyway.
Because it has a certain weight to it, a heaviness.
Oh, it's definitely heavy. It feels heavier than just a wine. It almost feels like a port, but it doesn't have the sweetness of a port. Mm-hmm. It's that kind of rich, though. It's very, very heavy. So to me, I mean, this is just great stuff. So it's time to put a number.
All right. I think I have a number.
I believe I have a number 2. I'm between 2, though. So I have to think. Let me just have one more little sip of yours. I don't want to have too much more. And you didn't need all this.
I didn't.
All right. I'm there. 1, 2, 3,
8.
9.5. Yeah, that's how much I like this.
And I think a big reason why we bumped up our numbers on this is not just because how much we like it already, but because we know in our mind how simple it's going to be to fix it to make it even better. Now, we haven't sampled that because we haven't attempted that yet, but we're very hopeful. And
we're probably just going to bumble through it in a video and let you guys see all the mistakes that we make too.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll laugh, you'll laugh, we'll cry, you'll laugh some more. It'll be all good.
The equipment will laugh at us.
But as far as bones go, these are really good bones.
You gave it an 8, though. You said the only thing you changed is sparkling.
I know, because I was trying to be reservist. I do that. You know this.
Okay, I was being totally off the cuff honest. When I first pulled this out, like when she pulled it out, I was like, okay, I'm thinking back to what I tasted it as before. I'm like, this is like a 7. It's good. It's quite good. But then when we smelled it and tasted it, I was like, this is so much better than it was last time. So much better.
We are wearing the wrong t-shirts. We should be wearing the Time Heals All Brews t-shirts because
the year on this really made a difference.
It did.
And I went 9.5 for the simple reason that my rules are: a 1, I wouldn't serve to my worst enemy, and it's possibly dangerous to continue drinking. A 5 is something that I would reach for that. I would drink that. A 10, there's no room for improvement without a significant change to the brew itself. Meaning, like, I'd have to change out the fruits that are in it, or I have to make it, a million points sweeter, or, just something. In this case, the only thing that I think would make this better is if it was carbonated. If this was carbonated, I would have given it a 10 because it ticks all the boxes. And this isn't even my wheelhouse. This is a Derica drink, not a Bryant drink. So that's why this is even more unique. It ticks all the boxes. It has a great complexity and depth of flavor. You get the fruit. I get the acidity. I get complexity to those things even. I can taste 5 or 6 different fruits in there that I know there's only 3. And it lingers with you without being cumbersome. It doesn't like hold you down or anything. But no one flavor really stands out as discordant in any way. It's all very harmonious together. It just melds beautifully. I just thought it was fantastic. So 9.5. Maybe I'm a little too liberal with my numbers. I'll start giving threes just to balance it out. But hey, if you like this video, look up. There's another one up there. You might like that too.